20-0 to Japan. And, well, the crowd are very happy, as you can see. Here, we'll take a look at some of the highlights of that first half. Rich Freeman is with me. What about that first half?
Yeah, not a lot of highlights. We were hoping for a free-flowing game. This was one of the few highlights. Obviously, Yamada going in the corner. Good work by Hesketh and Thompson leading up to it from a quick penalty.
But what about the early changes that Eddie Jones has made in this Japanese side?
Yeah, 4 changes, 2 in the front row. I mean, a lot of problems with the scrum. This man doesn't need changing. Carl Hesketh's had a good game again, following on from last week, using his power and speed to go over there. But yeah, he made 2 changes in the front row. There's one of them there, confusingly wearing the wrong number, but setting up the ball, from which Thompson eventually scored in the corner for Japan's 3rd try.
But they've had a few opportunities, but made a few mistakes as well along the way.
They have. I mean, it doesn't help the game when you've got 14 penalties in the first half, and obviously both sides are guilty of that, of getting on the wrong side of the referee. A lot of those were in the scrum, which may be the reason why that he's made those changes. There we look. I mean, you know, lineouts in particular, Japan have done well. They've stolen 4 balls from Hong Kong.
Look at the bottom one, handling errors by Japan.
Yeah, 5. I mean, obviously they've had a lot more of the ball than Hong Kong, and Hong Kong's defence has been good, but 5 handling errors is something that they've got to work on.
And I'm sure that's why he made the changes early on as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, as I say, 8 penalties conceded in a half against a side that you would think you were a lot stronger than. That is a worry. And he took off Mikami, he took off Kizu, he brought on the guy and Arita, and then towards the end, obviously Hopgood and Fujita also came on. You know, he said last week it's the attitude of the players, and maybe this is just a way of reminding certain players that, you know, come August, it's the World Cup, they're leaving for the World Cup, and they've got to get their attitude right.
And the other thing, Rich, is they've just come back from a 4 or 5 day trip to England to check out the World Cup, and Eddie spoke to you yesterday and said, you know, everything is on the line for these guys, so like quick changes for those 4 guys, they'd be worried, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I mean, he did say that some of the players were suffering from jet lag as well. They were only in England for 4 days, so maybe that's one of the reasons too that the 2 front row forwards have been brought off. But yeah, it's not been a great game. I mean, credit to Hong Kong. They've come here as the underdogs. They've fought and scrapped their way, and to trail by 19 at half-time, I think they can be probably quite happy with their performance. Obviously, for Japan, though, they'll want to lift it. And
I'm delighted that you used the word scrap, because that's exactly what they've done. And I think Andy Hall would be very happy that they have, you know, for the first 10, 12 minutes, they were in there scrapping and fighting for everything.
They were. And full credit to them for that. That's what they've got to do. I mean, and you know, for them, it's all about really next week as well. Is if they can get the confidence from today to go into Korea and win that, and then come second in the group.
Now we're in real confusion, Rich, because the referee has changed his shirt, and he's gone to red, the same as the Hong Kong team. Before he was wearing the black, and we were confusing him with the Hong Kong team. Now he's wearing red. He's with the Japanese team. He's
got the green go faster stripe, so maybe that will mean he can be told from the players. A couple of changes as well for Hong Kong. 17 coming on for 1. That's John Aikman coming on for Wee Hon Sun, and Alexander Badley coming on for Paul Dwyer.
So Paul Dwyer got, he took a knock earlier on, so Paul Dwyer going off. That would be a big loss to the Hong Kong side. So they have Badley on. He played in the game against Korea. There's Karamaru taking the clean ball. Now they go outside this time to Holani, and they go way, way deep, but that's too far and too long. And it's going to go dead in goal. So a couple of changes by both coaches, but you see there the Hong Kong player is moving away. Jones is concerned about the big man that's out there on the park.
Just denies, took a bit of a knock, which was a bit of a worry. He didn't play at all last season for Cannon Eagles, and important player to have because he can cover the lock and the second row, and showed earlier in the first half what a good footballer is with a couple of great delayed passes.
We'll just keep an eye on him. He's 30 years of age now as the Japanese take it in again. This is Yamada And what a break up the middle from Yamada, but he's taken to ground, but they can recycle it again. Hawassa goes across to Tamura, and Tamura is kicking deep into that far corner, collected by the Japanese. They control it, but there's a nice piece of a steal by Alex McQueen. Got over the top. Goromaru was there, rescued it. And this is Arita and Hatakeyama. Again, they move it this time out to the middle, and a blast on the referee's whistle.
I think he's going to have to put his hand in his pocket, because that's the second time in a short time they've done that. And off to the naughty boy chair for 10 minutes.
So Matt Lemming is going to go. Looks as if it is Matt Lemming. Yes, it is.
Absolutely no doubt. He raised the foot. He knew exactly what he's doing, stopping Hawassa from getting some quick ball.
So just 2.5 minutes into the second half, and Hong Kong lose the number 6 Matt Lemming. 10 minutes in the bin, and the Japanese team have a scrum right in front of the posts.
Interesting.
Right to our left.
Interesting to see what Hong Kong do here, because they're a man down in the pack. Do they put one of the backs in to help the scrum and stop the Japan going from the pushover, or do they leave the backs at the full complement?
John Aiken is now up in the front row where he was last week, and right beside him is Padley. So they've teamed back up again.
At this stage, the backs are the full complement of backs, so they're a man short, which will hopefully, if Hawassa's given the signal, we may see a push and drive here from Halani.
Yeah, he's controlling everything at the back. It comes back to him, and he's trying to control it, but he leaves Hawassa take over to Hatakeyama, and then they got a man on the outside. Nice ball inside to the number 12, and the number 12 Tamura gets his name on the score sheet. Tamura, the 26-year-old, 5'10" in height, and he's a big man to stop when he has the ball.
Yeah, good little wrap around there by Tatakawa, and Tamura goes over. Makes it a good week for his family, because his father Makoto has been named the general manager of the New Japan Super Rugby side. And also in the last week, Eddie Jones obviously being named the director of rugby for that side. But younger Tamura there getting a try, following up from the one he scored 2 weeks ago against Korea.
Yeah, Yu Tamura, 27 years of age. Just about 27 years of age. Born on the 9th of the 1st. So a chance for Goromaru again. 25 meters out, just about 25 meters out. But 2 meters in from touch. So the scoreboard ticks over to 24 points. Can Goromaru concentrating again? 29-year-old. Great shot there of the way he lines up to take the kick. He got a bit underneath that. It's heading for the upright, and it hit the upright. So no points there for him. That's the second one he's missed. So it goes to 24 points to 0 for the Japanese team. Just take a look at it again in slow motion. Just fading away, Rich, at the end. Faded into that upright. Again, of course, he's kicking into that breeze because it's blowing sort of across, well, according to the flags, it's blowing across the pitch.
I think a good start for Japan. That's what they needed. As I say, it wasn't a great first half, so to come away with a try 2-3 minutes into the second half is good, and it's important now that they build on that.
Good ball by the Japanese team, put a hand out, blocked it.
Ruling that it was a deliberate knock-on, so penalty to Japan.
Japanese player put his hand out, thought he was going to grab it, and then suddenly the hand came out. Goromaru going to kick for the touch on this side. Tom McQueen has gone back, see if he can control it. Good long kick by Guramaru, but it is halfway between the halfway line and the 22 meters.
And the line-out gives Hong Kong the chance to make a substitution. The scrum half looking like he's hobbling, and that's Adam Ralston coming on for Kado Lee.
So Ralston in for Kado Lee. That's a bit of a change for them.
Yeah, Kado Lee didn't look like he was that comfortable actually when he hobbled off, so I think that's more of an injury-enforced change.
Yeah, Ralston, the 23-year-old, actually he was born in Hong Kong as well. Another Hong Kong player knocked back to Harris for Hong Kong. They're trying to move forward. Halani, they're organising his troops. It goes to Parfitt, Jack Parfitt, trying to take it up for Hong Kong. They can get at it, and getting in there to get at it was Adam Ralston. There's Ralston standing behind the scrum. Good long pass from him. Goes into the middle. Jeremy. Again, Hong Kong taking it forward. And the handout from the referee, Norman Drake. But they're still off the ground. They're keeping it off the ground. The Japanese are trying to keep the Hong Kong player up. But Hong Kong get back into the action again. They can rotate it again this side. Second, third phase of this movement from the Hong Kong team, pleading by the referee for the Japanese to leave it. This time they go to the big number 4 that came in. Now to Woodward. Woodward with the dancing feet, trying to jig one way, then the other. Now it goes back to Jack Parfitt. Parfitt taking the ground, leaves it there for Ralston. They move it across the back line. And this time it was lost, but here's the opportunity for the Japanese, and again it's got to be an easy try for Yamada. Lovely pass, but a loose pass by the Hong Kong team set that up for the Japanese try.
Yeah, as you say, it was a turnover ball here. Arita quickly gets the ball out, Justin Ives, and then Tamura does well, holds onto it, commits the 2 defenders, and then Yamada's pace takes him over into the corner. And that's the type of ball Japan do need to score. When they get to the World Cup, you know, against some of the big boys, they're going to get the odd bit of turnover ball, and they have to capitalise on it. And so good play there, good awareness by Tamura just to slow himself down and wait for Yamada to come up in support and provide the wheels to go over in the corner.
Yeah, and of course he left the defender, 2-on-1, and the defender's in that situation, doesn't know which one to go for, and by the time he's made up his mind, the winger is gone anyhow.
Yeah, especially a winger with the pace of Yamada as well.
This is another attempt by Ayuma Goromaru. You see the crowds down on the touchline as well as he lines it up. 24 meters out, nearly exactly where he missed the last one, where he hit the upright. He'll be hoping for inches to go the other way this time. And this time he's pulled it way, way wide. Didn't get anywhere near the upright. So the score moves on to 29 points to 0 by Japan. And there's the man who scored 2 tries, scored the opening try in the first 10 minutes. And now he's got back again. Akihito Yamada, the 27-year-old. There's Eddie Jones. What would you think, Rich, looking down at Eddie? Would he be happy? Yes, good question. We'll answer it tomorrow.
I'm sure he'll say he'll be happy, but to the press anyway, he'll say he's happy, but to the players it might be a different message.
Exactly. Hong Kong trying to go on the attack, and this time they're going to get an opportunity as well. And he says to Justin Ives, you've got to let go of the ball. They take it quick, and that was McQueen. He did that last week against the Koreans. This time he wasn't able to get past the defensive wall of the Japanese. Good tackle, good strong tackle by the Japanese, and this time it goes to Ralston. Ralston moves it to Woodward and to Hood over there as well. But the Hong Kong team can hold on to it. Good flick backwards, nice play. Came back to Rimini. And then this time it was Tom McQueen lost control of it. It's back in the hands of the Japanese. And now they can move it across from Guramaru. Goes right across the line. And then they're kicking long. But that might be just too long. It might dribble over the dead line. And it does.
22.
Racing back there. James Hood. And you'd expect him, Rich, to race back there, seeing he plays with the Sevens.
Quite a few of this Hong Kong team playing for the Sevens team, and obviously benefiting from being full-time professional athletes down there with their Institute of Sport. It can only be good for the game down there when you've got, you know, players training full-time.
And we got 2 more changes for the Hong Kong team.
Yeah, Lamming coming back from his 10-minute spell on the bin, and
Here we go.
also going in there was
Lachlan Chubb going on.
Yeah, Lachlan Chubb. He plays as the hooker last week. So Chubb into the action, and the man coming back. But again, the Hong Kong team knocked off the ball.
A little bit of handbags behind the scrum as well there.
Thank you, Captain. Come back for the,
So he's
the red ball going forward. Okay, players in the deck there. Safety. Scrum,
He's
red going forward.
giving a lot of instructions to everyone down there.
Oh no, I didn't knock it out. It was general play.
I suppose that's fair enough from Norman Drake. If you didn't knock it on, we'd be still playing.
One good player.
He's got the player down injured.
Red ball going
And the Japanese front row forwards down at the moment. So Dr. Takazawa just having a look at Nagai's hand there.
I didn't actually see who went off for the Hong Kong team. It might have been the hooker.
Yeah,
Harris,
Alexander Harris went
and
off.
Chubb
Yeah.
comes in his place. There's a Japanese casualty.
Let's go.
Yeah, Yusuke Nagai is going off, and Masataka Mikami, who came off in the first half, is back on again.
Second players behind the ball. Okay, crouch.
29 points to 0. You can see there on your graphic, 53 minutes gone in this third Asia. When they take it quickly, breaking out at the back, into the middle to Yamada, Tamura. They're all lining up, waiting for it. But the Hong Kong team just being able to defend. But when there's a player taken out, and it was Woodward, he was taken out of play, but the Hong Kong team take it on. And that's Ralston breaking up the middle of the park. Ball is there, and the ball was out. Oh, that was terrible mistake by the Hong Kong team, and they're going to be punished for it. And the referee is going to ask, did he put it down?
Knocked on first.
Knocked down,
He knocked it on, Fujita
yes.
knocked it on. I mean, good work by Yamada. He saw the turnover, picked it up. Fujita showing that he's actually learned a bit of English when his time down in Christchurch at St Bede's School, saying TMO please to the referee there. But
No TMO. You and I will have to be the adjudicator of that, he's saying.
the crowd not happy as well. The crowd not happy, and they've called the scrum back on the 22.
Yeah.
Stand up, please. Stand up.
Fujita not happy. The referee's not happy with the scrum.
The only thing I think that happened then is he's saying that possibly Yamada knocked it on as he went to pick up the loose ball, which is where the scrum is now.
That's
and
right.
Perhaps Fujita did touch the ball down, but the scrum's back there for Yamada's knock on.
Yep.
And now yet another penalty as the scrums once again disintegrate into a bit of a mess.
You know, Eddie will be a little bit worried, as you mentioned, Rich, about going to the World Cup. The scrum is not very stable and it's not very steady, and they can't afford that in World Cup, can they?
No, and it's strange because last year, you know, when they beat Italy, when they beat the USA,
there's the line out.
The scrum worked very well for Japan, and then obviously in Europe things went badly. Eddie's made another substitution now, I think. Seems Helani might have gone off and Hopgood's on.
So he's brought on a man that I thought played very well last week.
So there's obviously a bit of a confusion. The referee can't hear what's going on either, as we can hear now. It's actually Nick Hewson who's going off, and Damien Bailey going on for Hong Kong. And the Hong Kong captain obviously doesn't look very comfortable as he hobbles off.
He's been carrying an injury, and they've been working on that. But here's the Japanese team again. Goromaru tackled on the 22, taken to ground. They can recycle it again. They go inside. This time to Holani, being involved in everything. Big break up the middle by Justin Ives. Again, it's Hatakeyama, the skipper. They miss out a man and then they throw it in where the player was injured. That was Justin Ives, was sort of feeling himself, and they threw the ball straight at him. Nice flip pass, but stolen away. And a quick break out of the back, but he needs help. And unfortunately for Hong Kong, there was nobody around to get a hold of the ball. And the 7 is going to be penalised for coming in at the side. 17. Or 17, I beg your pardon. Captain. So there you see the number 12, Max Woodward, showing a clean pair of heels there for a couple of seconds, but he had nobody to help him out, and Fujita was the one. There he is. Max Woodward, 25 years of age, plays with the Kowloon team in Hong Kong.
Kowloon Club host a very, very good tournament the week of the Hong Kong Sevens on the Tuesday or the Wednesday, a social tournament. Which,
I see. Social bits came into it.
Whole of the Hong Kong Sevens week is a pretty social event, but that tournament kicks it all off. And you
can hear the referee instructing. So the throw in, taken by Badley. Now they can move it out wide again. That's a nice long ball. They go out to the number 13, Jamie Hood. Hood's taken to ground. Nice ball from Woodward. They go to Badley. He's taken to ground. They can rotate it again. This is Ralston. Ralston inside to Remini, and Remini offloaded it, but it's back again. Here is Remini again. This time he comes wide, and a good ball outside to Max Woodward, wearing the number 12, and that time they missed out the big man wearing the number 5, Butterfield. But again, it's very, very scrappy, and there's the ball coming out of the back, and Hong Kong had possession, and they have lost it out, and Guramaru is able to pick it up, gives it inside to Luke Thompson. Now, the Japanese rotated again. That's quick ball, quick hands. It goes to Tamura. Awasa. Into the very, very tough and hard Hatakeyama. Good ball, rushed across the back and wide outside to Fujita. He's taken to ground. Goes to Guramaru, and it's all Japan at the moment. Oh, there's a nice dummy sidestep and a flick, and it's opened it up in the middle. Oh, he's taken the ground. He had a man free, and he didn't offer him the opportunity. I think he would have gone in under the post.
A great break by Tatakawa there. I just get the feeling that some of these Japan players, I think the jet lag really is starting to affect them, because they really aren't looking very sharp at all. That was a good break by Tatakawa, but It just seems a very sluggish performance today. Arita did well there, but then, as you say, he didn't have he had the man outside, he didn't pass, and I don't know if they've been training so hard that.
Maybe you're right. Maybe the jet lag is kicking in a bit.
They've been training hard down in Miyazaki as well, and obviously, as I say, they want to peak in September, so that will be at the back of their minds. But Tatikawa's just come off, and Hirose's come on for Japan, so maybe he can just spark them in these last 20 minutes or so.
Throw in by Lachlan Chubb, goes to the back of the line. Oh, and the Japanese were wide out there. Kick forward by Remini, but back there covering it is Yamada. Tries to skip past one, skip past two, goes into Naga. Now they rotated again through Hawasa. Oh, wide out into the middle, and there's a big gap for the Japanese to run through. God, that was the gate was open there. An advantage again for slowing down the play. They go back to Naga wearing the number 1, Hawasa. Sets the Japanese up again. 4th phase, 5th phase coming up. Ball, a bit of a juggle, but is able to pull the ball in, and the referee has blown his whistle.
Captain.
And he's going to call the captain.
Not rolling away again. You're 5 minutes out. We had a go out for this. It's the same. Just what? Thank you. How many penalties they had, sir? Thank you. We're in the red zone here.
Is sending off.
There we go.
Yeah. He's sending off Charlie Smith. So Charlie Smith is heading to the bin.
Few changes coming up for Hong Kong. We haven't made them yet, but Niall Rowett looks like he's going to be coming on for Max Woodward, and Jack Nielsen is going to be coming on for Jack Parfitt, and with Japan, Kakinaga's come on for Hatakeyama.
And of course, another one that was involved there is Damien Bailey, wearing the number 20. There's Charlie Smith. Charlie Smith, the 25-year-old.
I understand that. I'm not arguing with that. Okay. What about when we were in their half? I can't play. We can know 3, 4, 5, 6 penalties.
Okay, well, have a look at it. Okay, but you're 5 minutes away here.
I like that, Rich, the discussion between the stand-in captain, Woodward, and the referee, and basically they're trying to sort themselves out.
Yeah, I think Jamie Hood's saying that, when they were down in the Japan half, Japan people were penalised 3 or 4 times and no cards were issued, and obviously Hong Kong have just had their second player sent to the sin bin. So,
and Jamie Hood, of course, having experience of captaining the Sevens at one stage, he would have had a lot of discussions with the referees, with their reverse trying to defend what Woodward had done. But in the meantime, they sent off the number 11. Charlie Smith, and he's in the bin.
Japan making a change. Kizu's back on at hooker in place of Arita.
5, 6,
Steady, keep it up. He's all the front row went down. Just wonder whether it was the Japanese front row that took that down. Felt a bit of pressure from new men who've just come off the bench for Hong Kong.
I'm a fly half. I wouldn't have a clue what went on back in the front row there, I tell you.
They're the only ones who know what's going on in there.
Absolutely.
Put in by Hawasa, and there's a drive, and they're holding it at the back. Alani was the one that was at the back, and he missed picking it up. And the number 8 looks around and discussed he had a chance at the back of that scrum, and they were all moving forward if he could have picked it up.
Making another changes there. Uchida's coming on at scrum half, and Asami coming on in for the second row. Asami taking over from Luke Thompson, and Uchida taking over from Hawasa.
There's a player injured as well. There's Eddie Jones. There he goes to the big man, Luke Thompson.
Celebrated his 50th cap 2 weeks ago. And we'll be hoping to make that trip to England because that will be his 3rd World Cup if he does.
Crouch.
33 years of age now. 6'5" tall man, and as you say, winning his 50th cap. Now he's got them straightened out in the front, and now the drive is on again, and they're holding it at the back, and it's Halani, and you don't stop that big man.
Finally we see the Japan scrum starting to click. That's what I was saying earlier. That's what we saw a couple of years ago when they beat Italy here, when they beat Samoa against USA, and they really did have a scrum that was up there with the best in the world. And then when they went to Europe, and Romania and Georgia destroyed the Japan scrum, it has to be said, and I think it might have taken a bit of confidence out of them. They're trying new tactics, they're trying a new style of scrummaging. It's probably taking a bit of time, and
over there you see the...
now we suddenly see a tight head, and well, pretty easy try for Halani in the end.
Exactly, but just a reminder that it is against 14 men. They have Charlie Smith on the bench. Parfitt is going to come off for the Hong Kong team, Jack Parfitt. Meanwhile, Koromaru is going to take this conversion from just inside the 22, maybe 20 meters out. And this could be one that he should put over. Or am I going to give him the commentator's curse again? Scoreboard ticking over for the Japanese. I think they'd be pretty happy at that, but there's the charge down. And this time he kicks and the white flags are raised. So Koromaru converts. Even though it was a chase down by, big chase down by Tom McQueen, was the one who was trying to block everything.
Halani, a very important player for Japan. He's not really had the pace ever since he got injured in 2011 against France in the opening game of the World Cup. He seems to have lost quite a bit of pace, but he more than makes up for it with his defensive work. A huge hitter, and presented with a pretty easy try though there, with his rest of the forwards doing all the work.
Jack Nielsen in action for the Hong Kong team, and also Neil Roark. I was actually impressed with Roark's performance last week against the Korean side, and I thought he had a good second half. I don't know what you made of that, but Rich, but he impressed me.
Yeah, he came on and helped Hong Kong turn around what was a poor first half into a much better second half, and for them to have played, and I think they gave away 18 turnovers in the first half alone, and for them to sort of play as badly as they did in the first half and then come within a converted try of a draw was a pretty good effort in the end. And as I say, those 2 bonus points could be vital come the end of the tournament.
Okay, they've got an opportunity here. They're 8 meters out. Take it in the line out by the number 7 high jump from Toby Finn. And they hold on to it, but again they're being held up by this strong pack from the Japanese. The ball is at the back, and I think it's Damien Bailey was holding it in there. I don't know, was the number. Yes,
how many more times Hong Kong had to be told there, use it, use it, use it. I think it was 4 or 5 times by the referee. They didn't listen for whatever reason, and obviously they lose possession now with the scrum going to Japan.
There was Ekman at the back wearing the number 17, and also beside him Damien Bailey wearing the number 20. 2 of them were trying to hold on to it, but as you say, Rich, too many mistakes.
That's on both sides as well, and that means that there has been a little bit of frustration as well. There's been a couple of little niggly bits off the ball, and I think that's just players frustrated with the way the game's flowed, probably with their own performances as well.
Put in by the Japanese team, and they're going to try and hold on to it at the back, and there he is again, Halani breaking away. He's a very, very powerful man to have at the back. And now the Hong Kong team rotated, and again it's
walking around.
walking around, says the referee. And quite a few of them are walking around, Mr. Referee. They're exhausted after a long trip to England and back. Jet lag. And Koromaru weekend, but I can't blame him because I think the sun was shining in his eyes. He was trying to take that one out of the air.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest pass, to be fair to him.
It's kind of kick. And that one has gone into touch, just short of the halfway line as the clock ticks over to nearly 30 minutes gone. Here you see it on the graphic, 69 minutes in the game. And the Japanese have it again. They want to put more points on the scoreboard. And there's a little kick ahead for the speedster, and there's nobody going to catch him if it stays in play. And it's just gone out of play for Fujita. Nice little kick.
Yeah, it was a good little bit of variation there from Goromaru. Just a shame the bounce didn't go quite right. Here he sees the gap and puts the little kick in.
Yeah, just went over the touch line. Just having a look at the Hong Kong defense with Fenn trying to organize things, and Walson, Bailey, and Lomark in the team. That's a good kick, and it's just going to beat Goromaru in. But he's going to play on, and this time they play a 1-2. And he's taken his head, it goes into touch.
Flag is up.
Flag is up.
Flag is up.
Flag is up, it went into touch.
14.
And there's
I'm not saying you can't throw the ball away, I just thought it was an opportunity for a quick toss.
the referee is saying that the Hong Kong team going to throw it in. Nielsen, Chubb with the line out throw. Nielsen missed it, and the Japanese have it again. Quick ball at the back, and this kicking, and a lot of it coming from Tamura, and it is Bailey who raised back. Leave it, says the referee. They do, but the Japanese can't get a quick ball, and it's gone to the other side, and it's going to be banged into touch on the far side in the sunshine. But the Hong Kong team needed to be a bit further away.
Charles Smith going back to the bench now. He's had his 10 minutes on the sin bin, and has been replaced on the field by Jonathan Rees for Hong Kong as Japan take this line out.
Break through the middle again. The Hong Kong team are really scrambling here as the Japanese team go forward again through Justin Ives. They have a big overlap on this side. Take it into the middle. They can move it again. And they got a big space. And oh well, that was a very easy handoff. And they go wide again to the number 23, Fujita. And Fujita is able to trot over for a try this time. That's not going to be disallowed.
I think Fujita might have to buy Hirose and Hesketh the beer then, because I think both of them could have cost. Hesketh definitely could have cost, but has given it over to the fan favourite, Fujita, to score in the corner.
So Fujita gets the try, along with Halani, Yamada getting two, Tamura. They're all the try scorers. He's happy. Actually, I was surprised to see him out at the side, but then, of course, Eddie had to allow for a man coming back from Perth to get into the side, Yamada.
Yeah, he's got about 6 wings, as I say, going for 3 or 4 places, and so he needs to just give everyone a chance. Yamada obviously hasn't played that much down with the Western Force. He's played some club rugby, and that's it. So he'd arranged to come back here for training camp, and it was a good opportunity just for him to get a run in the national colours.
What
obviously
about
Fuku-
Matsu? Do you think he's a young guy? Okay, so he's got a lot of speed. Do you think he will take him?
I think a lot will depend on how Fukuoka also comes back from injury. He's had a long-standing injury. He should be back next week, possibly, and he really is the speedster in the team. And then obviously the 3 or 4 others are all fighting for places.
Koromaru with the kick. See if he can convert this try. And that one again gone a little bit wide. And the scoreboard ticks over to 41 points for Japan. In Hong Kong, he had to register, and you can see the anguish on the face there of the number 23, Fujita.
Interesting to see after this performance what Eddie Jones does. I mean, he only made 2 changes after a sort of rusty performance last week. Next week, obviously, we're in Fukuoka, down on the southern island, Kyushu. So they take on Korea, and it'll be interesting to see what team is picked for that game.
Hong Kong back in possession through Matt Lemming, and a quick break out, and this time it goes to Alex McQueen, and the Japanese team all offside. Matt Lemming again, but he's told to wait on. He said you got to go back. So the ball going to be put in, play by Benny Ramini.
Crowd's gone a little bit quiet the second half. I mean, Japan have scored a few tries, but there's 8,760 people here, but they haven't really been making that much noise. It's certainly not the sort of noise that we heard here last year when they were beating Italy, when they really sort of were brought to a crescendo with Japan's performance, and I think that's sort of reflective. I think they came here with such high hopes. It's World Cup year. The team are getting a lot more press in the papers and on the TV, and perhaps they're just a little bit disappointed with the performance of the Brave Blossoms today.
Lachlan Chubb putting that one in. It's going to come back to Adam Ralston wearing the number 21. His ball gone to ground, but he's going to go back in and pick it back up again. This time he offloads it to John Ekman. Ekman leaves it behind. Then they go outside to Remini again, taken to ground. Now they have a chance of opening it up on the far side. This is Tom McQueen heading for the line, 8 meters out, 10 meters out. Again, they can rotate it, keep possession. 4th phase for the Hong Kong team. They'll be pretty happy with that. Nice flick pass going inside. And they're fighting for it. Long hand, but he was off his feet. And it looks as if Hong Kong are trying for a try. And it's knocked forward. And they came off of Adam Alex Badley.
Yeah, obviously only 4 minutes to go. Hong Kong just want to do anything they can to get a try or get some points on the board, and just rushed a little bit, and he went in on his own, got isolated, and lost the ball in the contact there.
Yeah, you see, he was trying to flick it back or flick something, and just the hand went out. Scrum on the 5-meter line in the Japanese half of the ground. The sun is still shining down here in Tokyo. With the sun shining on the scoreboard for Japan, they lead by 41 points to 0. And we're inside the last 2 minutes. Screaming from our referee, Norman Drake, to leave it. And here the Japanese are taking it away from their own line. Now they can push it back. And that was a nice kick foul by Uchida. And again, the Japanese broke out, but he's passed it to the wrong color jersey. And here is Alex McQueen to Remini, to Tom McQueen. Tom McQueen down this side, doesn't have any support. Had a bit of support coming from Toby Fenn. But now they go back into Matt Lemming again. They can rotate it to Hood. Jamie Hood racing into the middle was the number 22, Jonathan Rees. They have the number. It goes to Bailey, to Remini. There he is, standing, waiting for it. He's got it again. Oh, a nice flick pass, but the ball knocked forward off the hand of the Japanese player. But the referee is going to call them all back, take them over to the far side. And he's going to high tackle.
Okay, just a penalty. Against
high tackle against Justin Ives, I believe.
Captain 13.
Captain 13.
Under 15. Over there.
Obviously a bit of miscommunication.
13.
He said 6 originally, but now he's calling 13, which is Khan Hesketh.
Yeah.
13.
13, he's saying.
I don't know how you can get Khan Hesketh and Justin Ives confused.
Sorry, just keep the
Quite
tackles
a
low,
height
please.
difference there between those two.
Okay.
Actually, he's telling him to keep it down. Hesketh was actually running off. He was heading, he thought, for the bin.
High tackle, thank you.
Fair enough, it was high. So
grabbed him around the neck and the shoulder.
good call by the referee and his assistant there.
Hong Kong going to kick for touch. Benjamin Rimini. See if they can get a score on the board. And the committee are meeting with big Paul Dwyer in the middle there, also wearing the number 7. The flanker Toby Fenn. So let's see what they do with Lachlan Chubb to throw the ball in. They go to the front and they go to that man, Toby Fenn. And that's what the committee meeting was about. You're not bound in the ruck.
So Hong Kong weren't bound there where they got the driving maul going, and as such it's accidental offside, which means it's a scrum to Japan.
And Cheetah to feed the scrum. He's come into the side during the action. Kiyosuke Uchida. Clock ticking over. Final seconds of this match. Binding, he's going to penalise the Japanese for binding, but they won't get up off the ball. They're hoping that the clock would tick out. The siren goes and there's still a bit. Oh, look at David. They're going to have handbags. Oh, yes. A few of them are getting excited over there.
As I say earlier, it's the frustration, I think. It's been one of those games that just hasn't really got going.
Yep.
There could be any number of reasons, I suppose, given for that. Players have made a lot of errors. Has been quite a whistle-happy occasion out there today, and as a result, I think that sort of little scrap at the end was just a question of players just getting really frustrated with what happened this afternoon.
And you can see the referee there talking to Damien Bailey wearing the number 20.
Just have a word, please. We're still in the game here. Okay? Anything from you?
Talks to big Paul Dwyer. He's saying we're still playing the game. Now they take it forward to Alex Badley. Takes it forward. Oh, way out in front, loose ball, and now messed up by the Japanese. But it won't matter because the referee is going to blow time on. And it's a final result for the Japanese. And they win by 41 points to 0. There is your final score and your graphic on the screen. There's the coach. It'll be pretty happy. Well, will he be completely happy, Rich?
I don't think so, to be honest. It wasn't a great performance. You know, a win's a win, and I'm sure that's what he'll say. And it's good that they're 2-0 in the Asia Championship, and they've kept up their record of bonus points wins in this competition. But at the end of the day, a lot of penalties given against Japan, which is a cause of concern. A lot of handling errors, which is also a cause of concern.
Yeah, but when he looks at the score sheet and he sees that Yamada got 2 tries and he's got Tamura and of course Fujita coming on, he must be happy with the strength that he has in the back line and the speed.
I think so. I think, yeah, individually there were some bright performances. Obviously Yamada scoring 2 tries. I thought Luke Thompson did very well up front. Tuwasa was trying as hard as he could to get quick ball. So individually there were some good points.
Exactly. So you just wonder whether Eddie would be very, very happy with the situation. He does have a problem up front with the scrum.
Eddie, well done. I think it's fair to say you weren't too happy after round 1. How's your mood at the moment?
ラウンド1はあまりハッピーな結果じゃなかったと思いますけれども、今回の試合はいかがでしたでしょうか。
It was a bit better today. We did some nice attack. Our handling let us down a little bit at times, but there was certainly a good intent today.
そうですね、前回よりもいい試合だったと思いますし、いいアタックができたと思いますし、ちょっとハンドリングが精度悪かったところありましたけれども、いい結果で、喜んでいます。
So you kept a clean sheet. You happy with the defensive performance?
ディフェンスのパフォーマンスはいかがでしたでしょうか。
Yeah, defence coach Lee Jones will be very happy today. It's nice when you got a 0 against the opposition's name.
0点で抑えれたということで、ディフェンスのリー・ジョーンズコーチは、非常にハッピーだったと思います。
Great, thank you, Eddie. See you next week.
Sean Moore talking to the very winning big captain, Eddie Jones, and he wanders off. And as Sean said, you must be pretty happy with that result. So there you see the Japanese team all gathering around as the Hong Kong team are going down in blue, going to ramble off, and they're getting a nice reception from the big crowd here. Let's go back down to Sean.
Nice performance. What are you most pleased about today?
いいパフォーマンスでした。今日で一番良かったところはどこでしょうか。
いいアタックができたことと、最後までディフェンスしっかりできたことだと思います。
A good attack, and we were able to defend until the end of the game.
Okay, it's a quick turnaround for Korea. They gave you a bit of a challenge at home. What do you need to do for them?
次の韓国戦、チャレンジしないといけないこと、やらなきゃいけないことは何でしょうか。
接点の部分で、韓国に、受けないこと、自分たちから仕掛けていく、そういったところを意識していきたいと思います。
Don't be passive in the set piece, and we got to dominate, and we got to attack them.
I know it's early on in the campaign, but how's the team coming together for the Rugby World Cup bid?
まだ早いですけれども、ワールドカップに向けてチームの調子はどうですか。
とても良くなっていると思う。ただ、我々には時間がないので、一つ一つ、しっかりやっていきたいと思う。
Very good, but we don't have much time, so we need to make the most of each minute that we get.
Great, thank you, Skipper. See you next week.
There he is, the successful captain of the Japanese team, Kunsuke Hatakeyama, talking there to Sean Moore, and there's the local team, the Japanese team, across the far side, having a bow to the spectators who have come out. And here's some of the highlights of the action, Rich. And Eddie would be pretty happy looking at some of this.
I mean, this was obviously a move from the training fields, worked well. Tatakawa, a nice loop move. Japan made the most of the extra man they had, because at the time, obviously, Hong Kong had a man in the sin bin.
Exactly, and even though the Hong Kong team, had opportunities, spilling of the ball was just collapsing in humanity for them.
Yeah, well, it was one of their problems last week. Obviously, they spilt the ball and Korea made them pay, and it's happening again here, because obviously Arita did well to pick up the loose ball. The ball went wide, and Yamada used his pace to go over. And here we have a tight head scrum, and Kalani goes over for a pretty simple try at the end of the day.
Yeah, he's a danger man, and I'm sure others will be taking notice of him around the world, because he can create opportunities. Here's a nice one for the man on the outside.
Yeah, Fujitera, but as I say, I think Hesketh could have carried on running and scored, but decided to give it to the crowd favourite just to wrap things up.
There's the graphics, and it tells its own story, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, look at the lineouts. I mean, the lineouts 10-17 to Hong Kong. I mean, they really struggled there. Handling errors, as Eddie said just then, 8 handling errors, which really you just can't do at the highest level. And 19 penalties. I know it's a difficult job being out in the middle there, but 29 penalties during the course of the day's game didn't help make it a free-flowing occasion.
Exactly. That's the Japanese team coming across to this side of the ground, to the main grandstand. There's the standings after the third game. Japan having played 2, 1-2, and they have 12 points. Korea played 2, 1-1, and they have 6 points. In Hong Kong at the bottom at the moment with just 2 points, and those 2 points came as bonus points from their games so far. So Japan out in front, 12 points to 6. It doesn't surprise anyone, does it, Rich?
No, it doesn't surprise anyone to see Japan top there. Obviously, the key match will be in 2 weeks' time in Incheon when Hong Kong take on Korea for that all-important second spot, because the third team will obviously possibly face a challenge from the side finishing top of Division 1.
Well, there you see the final score in the Asia Rugby Championship for 2015. Japan 41-0 against Hong Kong. The final score here in Tokyo. And of course, we'll be back in action next week again when we go to Fukuoka. And that'll be a very interesting battle as well. So we look forward to that. In the meantime, there's a lot of information to give you. And next week, as I say, it's Japan against Korea. And that kickoff, you have all the times on the screen there. And we will look forward to bringing that action to you. As I said, Japan leading with 12 points. Korea have a bit to do in that game. If you want to keep in touch with us, there's the details on Twitter at Rugby Asia Championship. And that's easy to follow. You get all the information, all the stats and all the inside knowledge of what's going on in the Asia Championship. There's the Facebook page for you, facebook.com. And of course, there's another piece of information to give you as well, and that is, of course, things that we all use every day of the week, YouTube, and you can see the live action on those games and replays. So that's it from the Prince Stadium here in Tokyo. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage and that you will come back and join us again next week for more of the action. So until then, on behalf of my co-commentator Rich Freeman, this is Colin Turner saying good afternoon.